He may be the most underrated defensive player in NFL history.
I watched Ken Riley for 14 years of my career, played cornerback, and played it as well as anybody, even including myself.
Ken Riley ranks 5th all-time in career interceptions, yet he never received a Pro Bowl selection, and it took almost 40 years for him to get into the Hall of Fame. But if he was so good, how was he overlooked for so long? Ken Riley was selected by the Bengals in the 6th round of the 1969 draft. He had a successful career as Florida A&M starting quarterback, leading them to a 23-7 record and 3 conference titles. But in 1969, there was still a stigma towards black players starting at certain positions. We were stereotyped then, everything down the middle, the quarterback, the center, the middle linebacker. Those positions required thinking, so they didn't put us there. But Paul Brown was an innovator. He had broken the color barrier over 20 years prior while coaching the Cleveland Browns. The real problem was the Bengals had drafted another quarterback with the 5th overall pick that year, Greg Cook. That's a topic in itself. Greg Cook is arguably the greatest what-if in NFL history. But not wanting to waste Riley's talent, Paul Brown made a decision.
When I hit the field, Paul Brown came up to me and said, "You are a defensive back." Plain and simple. For me, it was a challenge. It motivated me to show that I could play because I was a quarterback, now a defensive back, and a lot of people thought I wouldn't make it.
He had never played the position, after all. Everyone said I couldn't do it. A lot of people said I'd be home the next day. If the next day meant a 15-year career, they were right. But how do you transition from quarterback to defensive back?
A guy named Tom Bass, who was the defensive coordinator for the Bengals, he came down and he said, "Let's go over to the FSU. I want to work you out." And he taught me the basics, you know. He told me, "This is what I want you to work on during the summer." So I did. When I came back, I went to camp. I remember a guy named Eric Crabtree. He would just beat me all day long running the pass routes. And then they threw a little 5-yard quick out. And I planted and intercepted the pass, and I got some attention. Well, this guy's really quick. Got quick hands, quick feet. And I went on, and a guy named Charlie King, about 5th game of the season, he got hurt. They put me in, and that's the rest is history. He never got his job back.
Despite his lack of experience, Riley's skills as a quarterback proved useful. Because he was a former quarterback, he could read quarterbacks as a cornerback, and that was one of his superpowers. Paul Brown had uncovered a hidden gem. Riley finished his rookie year with 4 interceptions, a preview of things to come. By 1970, the AFL and NFL officially merged. With that, a new era of football had begun, and the Bengals would continue to get better. In the 1970 draft, Lamar Parrish was drafted in the 7th round. Together, Riley and Parrish would form one of the best and most underrated cornerback duos ever. They were part of a Bengals pass defense that was excellent during the 70s.
Lamar Parrish, Marvin Cobb, Bernard Jackson, Riley, and Casanova. Together, the AFC's finest against the pass. Exceptional talent, shared accomplishment, and absolute confidence in themselves to carry out an assignment as called. All of this made the Cincinnati defense a total team.
From 1974 to 1978, their pass defense ranked top 5 in 4 of those years. They had an even better pass defense than the 1976 Steelers.
For 15 seasons, the Cincinnati secondary was a snake pit for opposing quarterbacks, largely due to a man they called the Rattler, Ken Riley, the Bengals' all-time neutralizer.
1975 and 1976 were particularly great years for Riley, who set consecutive career highs in interceptions and received his first 2 All-Pro selections. However, it wouldn't be until his final season, where he recorded 8 interceptions, that he received his only first-team All-Pro selection. So Riley isn't just underrated now, he was also underrated while he was playing. He retired 4th all-time in career interceptions, yet he never received a Pro Bowl selection. He's just one of 4 players with over 50 interceptions, but 0 Pro Bowls, and he's the best player on that list. How does that happen? One reason is Lamar Parrish. Said to be the Deion Sanders of the 70s, Parrish was loud and flashy. He was a dominant corner, but also an electric kick returner. On the other hand, Riley was quiet. He didn't boast, and he let his work speak for itself.
As quiet and as studious Ken Riley was, Lamar Parrish was the exact opposite. He was a walking, lit-up neon sign.
So Parrish got all the attention. Take 1974, for example. Parrish had 0 interceptions, Riley had 5. Yet Parrish got a Pro Bowl nod. Or in 1975, Parrish missed 3 games and had just 1 interception. Riley intercepted 6. but Parrish got the Pro Bowl nod. Or in 1976, when Riley led the AFC with 9 interceptions. But again, Parrish got the Pro Bowl nod. Lamar and I were like Willie Mays and Hank Aaron. Willie Mays was the flashy one. That was Lamar. But I was the one getting all the interceptions. That's not to say Parrish didn't deserve the credit he got. He should arguably be in the Hall of Fame too. But he got more attention, even during seasons Riley was better.
And his superb play was topped only by Ken Riley, who has for years been one of the most outstanding yet underpublicized cornerbacks in the game.
Now Parrish did often cover the opponent's best wide receiver, man-to-man with no help, so less interceptions doesn't mean he was less effective. That being said, Riley still deserved more credit. When Parrish was traded in 1978, Riley still played well. In fact, he got better with age. In his first 7 seasons, he recorded 29 interceptions. In his final 8, he had 36, which included 8 interceptions in his final season. That's the most interceptions for a cornerback aged 35 or older. For a position that relies a lot on your physical abilities, it's incredible that Riley was able to maintain such consistency for 15 seasons. Part of his longevity came down to his intelligence and football IQ.
He was cerebral. He studied his opponents. He had notebooks upon notebooks of studying receivers. Those 65 interceptions came as much by his brain as they did his athletic growth.
He earned his team's Scholastic Award and was a Rhodes Scholar candidate at college.
And I used to jot down information on the receivers that beat me, what moves they used to beat me, and I did it so that if I played them again, that I would make the same mistake twice.
The preparation was clear to those who faced him.
During the 70s and the 80s, I played against some of the finest defensive backs in the history of the league, but none of them are any better than Ken Riley.
Not only did he teach himself, having never played the position before, he also taught others.
He would always sort of walk you back to the huddle, not in a in your face way, but he would walk you back across after a one-on-one drill where he gobbled you up and say, I saw this, or when you do this, don't do that, or do this. I mean, all he wanted was for you to be better.
Teammate Louis Breeden said, I had to learn from Kenny. What I knew, Kenny taught me. Kenny took me under his wing. Breeden would become an All-Pro in 1982 and retired with 33 interceptions. He even helped receivers. Chris Collinsworth said, I probably learned more about football from Riley than from anyone I played for or against. Despite this illustrious career, he was only recently inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2023, 35 years after he first became eligible. It's great that he finally got in, it's just a shame he wasn't alive to see it happen. Riley was a humble man, and he played for a coach that didn't like flash.
And in Cincinnati, we were not publicized. I mean, we were not glorified, so to speak. Paul Brown philosophy is you go out and do that's what I'm paying you to do. And there are a lot of guys that had great careers there but went unnoticed, and I was one of those guys.
That philosophy meant he flew under the radar for years, but he eventually arrived where he belongs.
You did it. You finally made it. I told you you were going to get in there, and you made it.